day and welcome. Today we'll be looking at demand, supply and prices, but in this video we will focus on supply. As we said in the previous video, firms and households are the two role players involved with demand and supply. Firms in terms of supply and households in terms of demand. In the previous video we looked at the demand side. Today we're going to look at what does the supply look like. So supply is the quantities of a good or service that producers plan to sell at each possible price during a certain period. So the producers are the ones that are producing and wants to sell their goods or services. As with the demand curve, two things can happen with the supply curve. So a supply curve, again, you have price and quantity, and then you have your supply curve. If there is a change in price, it means that there is a movement on the curve. It means then there is a change in quantity supplied. So as a result of an increase in prices, there will be an increase in quantity supplied. Because the higher the price, the more of a certain product or service producers wants to sell, because they will make more money. So again, it's only due to a change in price. So if the price of a product changes, it's a movement on the curve, and that will result in a change in quantity supplied. So again, it's none of the other determinants that is involved, it's only the price of a product. That is the movement on the curve. When we look at the movement of the curve, it means that the supply curve shifts either to the right or to the left. So you have price and quantity, and then you have your supply curve. So if the supply curves move to the right, it's an increase. If the supply curve moves to the left, it's a decrease. You see why it's very important to say, not to say that the curve moves up or down, because it can be confusing. If the curve shifts to the right, it means there is an increase. If the curve shifts to the left, it means there is a decrease. And then we say there is a change in supply due to the increase or the decrease. So what moves the supply curve? What is the movement of the curve is one of the determinants. So you either have price of your production factors or other inputs that increases. Your labor costs increase or your rent increases. It's a production factor or an input cost. You expected future prices of the product, so you expect that the prices in the future might increase or decrease. Technology changes, and also price of alternative products. So if you have products that you produce simultaneously and you decide rather to specialize in one product than the other product, then it's an alternative product. So that is what you need to know from the supply curve. There's a movement also on the supply curve. There is a movement of the supply curve and what shifts it. In the next video, we will look at examples and also how to do the calculations when it comes to demand and supply.